many dates. Be honest to me, whenever you study a chapter, particularly from history, you remember everything, the causes, the effect, the results, everything. But the time when I ask you the date of rote attack, Champaran Satyagraha, Chauri Chaur and so more, you go blank. I know that. Because my dear students, I have seen that in all the videos, in all the life, one permanent question comes from you, ma'am, how to remember those dates? Ma'am, SST is so boring. Ma'am, history is so difficult because of dates. So, my dear class 10 student, this video is the solution to all your problems regarding dates, as well as in the end of the video, I have a surprise for you. Class 10 students, welcome on the platform Diksha Vedantu. This is your SST faculty Tanvi Pauja, and today we are going to talk about the scientific method how to retain all those dates in mind. Those are flying like a bird in your mind. Let us talk about this. So first thing, we need to burst one myth that is in your mind, that history is all about dates. My dear student, pay attention. We cannot study history without dates. Can you assume any story without time? No. Whenever we talk about our life story, we remember that, okay, on this day, it's my mama's birthday. On that day, it's my father's birthday. And this day, I was born. The day I went to school for the first time. This day, I win an Olympiad or any of the activity. So, whenever we talk about a story, time is linked with it, right? Whenever we study a story, particular period is linked with it, then how it is possible to study history without dates? It is not possible. But the other thing is also very, very wrong, that history is all about dates. My dear students, history is not totally about dates. Those dates particularly give you a direction, that give you a timeline. Okay? History is a story. That is one of the best subject one can study, and I know that you might be thinking, ma'am, you are wrong here. My dear student, history is my favorite subject and I try to make it yours too. Let's talk about it particularly. Now, let me focus on the way how you can remember dates without giving you extra enough much knowledge. Tips and tricks to remember dates in SST. So one of the most important mistake what you guys are doing is, you are just seeing those numbers and assuming that that will be in your mind forever. No, not at all. Right? When you study history, one of the most important activity that you need to do is like Shruti and Smriti. You have to read it, you have to speak it, you have to write it, activate all your senses out there. Right? You guys are not making a timeline, and that's the problem. The first and the important thing is story technique that you need to follow. Now, what is the story technique? How do you remember the events of your life? How do you remember the events of your friend's life? Okay, how do you remember the story of a movie? Because you are basically focusing on a story technique. Why movies are interesting? Okay, why movies are interesting? They have a technique of showing it. Whenever you study, you sit and study history, don't just turn the pages, make the story out of it. Okay, Gandhi ji went to South Africa. Okay, why? For a case, there he went this. It was the year 1915. Okay, 1915 was the year when he came India. Then he time passed a little, he toured India, saw the conditions of India, and then went into a struggle. See, when I am speaking, I am not saying that 1915 Gandhiji came India, 1917 Champaran Satyagraha, 1918, how it will be remembered. Make a story out of it, make an interesting story out of it, put some cartoon characters in it, put some movie characters so that it can be retained into your mind in an interesting way as possible. Now coming towards the second technique, that is timeline technique. That is very important. My dear students, when we were like small, okay, when we were small in class 6, when you studied history as a different subject for the very first time, you will remember that to teach you what is AD, BC and everything, they draw a timeline that this is 0, before it what happened, 1 BC, okay, before it this is 100 BC, this is 1500 years ago, and after that there was 100 AD. Now what we can do is, this is known as timeline technique. You study in maths also na, the number line, that makes you understand that which is the smallest number, what happened, like which is the largest number. So what happened as first, what happened next, then next, then next. Why can't we make a timeline in our copy for the chapter so that you can remember all those events in sequence? Because in history, you know that chronological order type of question comes from the chapter Rise of Nationalism in Europe and India. At that time, you are figuring out. Rather than figuring out and working at the last moment, why not we work in priority? Let's prepare that timeline in the copy, arranging the events in chronological order and paste it in front of the table. Revise it daily, see that daily, and nothing is going to stop you that this will not be in your mind now. Okay, one more thing that you can do is, that is, okay, I forget that this is not the way to remove it, sorry. Okay, now talking about use patterns in dates, and that's very important. How we can use patterns in date, my dear students? See, pay attention. Like if I talk about history, okay, like if I talk about history, divide it into a certain way that I will write all the dates related to France. A pattern here is country. I will write all the dates that is related to Germany. Okay, all the dates that are important regarding the unification of Italy. There is a pattern in that you have divided it, classified it into countries. One more trick, like if we're talking about nationalism in India, categorize into like Gandhian freedom struggle or Gandhian movements. I'll study here Gandhian movements. Then we can talk about role of important personalities and dates related to that. Important acts that were passed. Paying attention, this is how you need to study. Don't make it boring. Like you are solving numericals in physics, you are doing sums in your maths, history is all about that. You're calculating there, start calculating here, link it with your daily life. Okay, like there is an event. For an example, you are someone born in 2002 and there is an event of 1902. Okay, remember, okay, this event happened the time 100 years before I was born. I'm just giving you example. I know you are not born in 2002. Okay, get it connected with your personal life. Divide that, okay, divide that year. Make it easy, make it interesting. How to convert that and how to make it interesting, that is the main target. Okay, that is the main target. This can only be possible when you show interest in that. Prepare a good storyline, like when I am teaching in class, how I teach you, the same way. Speak the story from your mouth, not only in your mind. That is very, very important. One more important thing, that is revise daily. Like in the previous video where we discussed about forgetting curve. Okay, Ebbinghaus curve, which tells that mind have basically the ability to store energy, but for a shorter period of time. To make it for a longer period of time, two things are very, very important. First is to revise it frequently, okay, at a equal interval of time. Get it? And the second most important thing is you are revising it, but recall it without seeing in your book or your copy. Get it? Don't write wrong dates. That is very important. This is particularly the guideline for class 10 students. What you guys are doing sometimes are writing wrong dates if you don't know. I am saying that to you right away. If you are not sure what is the date, don't write it. This gives the negative impression to the examiner or the evaluator. Don't write it, na? Leave it. Okay, so these were my guidelines particularly for tips and tricks to remember dates, and here is the surprise I was talking about. These are the list of dates that you are needed right before your exams. You need this, my dear students, and I know you don't have that enough time. I'm giving you a side, take the screenshot, keep it with you, remember the dates, recall the dates right before the exams. So this is the list of events that happened in Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Then you have so many events, nationalism in India. Okay, you can join the WhatsApp channel to get the PDF. We have dates from the chapter Nationalism in India. So many dates, 26 dates. However, I have put the important one. Then print culture in the modern world. This is very important. Complete civics. Basically, there were some dates in civics too. Some act passed, etc. And in geography too, which I have added in this video. Hope this video is going to be very, very helpful to all my dear class 10 students out here. Okay, prepare nicely, stay hydrated, do not eat eat junk food. Let's rock our class 10th exam, and tell me in the comment section how is your preparation going on.